Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael from Act Digital Media, and this evening we are here to discuss issues about Kumon. I remember in November 2023, my first actually encounter with Kumon, it was during the long holiday that just ended the last month. And we were actually grappling with the idea of where to take our children to. Actually, we were looking for a tuition center. By good luck, we actually bumped on Kumon Center in Tena. And of course, we admitted our children to that center. So this evening, we are here to talk about Kumon. With me here, I have a gentleman and ladies, and I will allow them to actually introduce themselves, starting from the lady next to me here. Welcome.
Thank you so much. My name is Bijou. I am a Kumon completer, and I was able to learn so much from my experience. I can't wait to share it with you. I am currently working as an investment advisor, and my background is in engineering.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you so much and welcome everyone. My name is Viola, a Kumon instructor, Tena Study Center, and I'm happy to have this chat this evening. Thank you so much.
Next, welcome.
Thank you and welcome. My name is James Karundu. I am an instructor here at Kilelesha Kumon Center and Nairobi South Kumon Center.
Thank you very much. Of course, not so many people know about Kumon centers. And to take us through what Kumon is all about, Mr. James, kindly tell us what's all about Kumon Center.
Thank you. So, Kumon is a study program. It's an after-school study program for helping children discover and develop their potential using math and English. And the idea of Kumon is very simple. If you are to start practicing at something consistently, you will see positive results. So Kumon then creates a structured way for children to practice and improve their math skills, but also at the same time developing important life skills. And we'll be discussing a little bit more about life skills as we continue.
Still briefly on the history of Kumon, when did it actually start operating in Kenya?
Kumon has been around for 25 years in Kenya. Myself, I am an instructor 24 years in this particular journey, but Kumon has been here in Kenya for 25 years. But worldwide, Kumon is the largest after-school education program, and it was started 60 plus years ago by someone called Mr. Toru Kumon in Japan. And Mr. Kumon was a maths teacher, and he started it as a way to help his child improve in his math. And the method he used is what now blossomed into a global phenomenon.
Thank you so much. So back to you, Viola. Why Kumon?
My experience with Kumon just started like something to look into, and I just saw it with children. It was just, I'm just seeing children doing papers, children doing their work, and then I started wondering what is all this that children do, and it works. So that urge made me want to know more. Why do students do this kind of worksheets and do this kind of work? For me, Kumon is just a kind of a life-changing program for our children academically as they go forward. So that's why I chose Kumon.
Back to you, Bijou. Tell us about your experience on Kumon, of course, you being a completer of this program.
So to take you back, I think it was maybe 15 years ago. I was around maybe about 10 or 11 years old, and I just needed that extra support. And that's where my family came in. They were very instrumental in this journey, particularly my mother. She was able to learn about Kumon, and through now spreading that news with the family and the whole wider network of our family, we ended up all joining cousins. So we all came in, and despite our different levels of our academic journeys, some of us were in 844, some of us were in the IGCSE system, we were able to learn from the fundamentals of 1+1. We were able to now take it back to the root of what exactly was causing a bit of a hiccup in terms of understanding mathematics and really being able to know how to deal with maths as a language, because it is also communication, and once you are able to know and understand that and practicing and being able to have that extra support and going to place, I think that's how that experience really made me and has shaped me to this point of my life. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Back to Mr. James. We understand that Kumon system is actually a supplementary, it actually supplements our education system that we have in Kenya. So when you look at the Kumon system and also look at our children development levels, how does Kumon identify children that they can be able to admit into your institutions?
Okay, the good thing about Kumon is that it's for all ages and all abilities. In fact, there are three scenarios that brings parents to Kumon. One of them is a child who's doing very well and they are not getting challenged. You know, they are kind of bored in class and they are super good. Or a child with very good potential, but school is not able to scratch or bring out that potential. So that's usually a perfect candidate for Kumon. And then it's also for your average student. As parents, we know my child is good, but maybe they're a touch lazy. You know, maybe you know they need a bit of better structure. They're not doing too badly, but they need a structure. They need to stop being lazy. They need to work. They need to focus. That's the second part. The third scenario is a child who has some identified gaps and challenges. Maybe the child could have been unwell and then they missed a bit of school. Or a child could even be having a learning difficulty, or even maybe you switched schools or you've come from a different country and there's a gap between you know, your earlier school and this school, or you've shifted from one part of the country to another. There are gaps in the learning. So Kumon comes in to fill those gaps. So three scenarios: a child who is doing fairly well, but they need to be challenged. Second one, an average child who are touch lazy. They need that bit of kick in the behind. They need that bit of structure. The third one, where there is a defined challenge.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Madam Viola. At what age should parents actually admit their children into Kumon centers?
Actually, any child from 3 years is a Kumon student. So we don't have limits to up to when they can go up to. Of course, adults. So Kumon is for everyone. The only thing we look to is how to develop a skill in the different level that you are in. So that's why we kind of look at what skills are we developing, because this is individual. This is not part of like a group. This is a kind of an individual kind of program. So we look at specific skills, specific, that's something that we need to develop in that child. So any child, and the younger the better, because they grow with the program, they start learning at that early age, and it becomes like a habit to them because it's an everyday kind of a program.
Thank you very much. And of course, back to you, Biju. You say that you joined Kumon when you were about 11 years. So what experience did you have at that particular time that made you actually join the institution of Kumon, and what impact did actually it have on you based on your experience as you actually progress into advanced?
I remember at the time, that was now during my 844 days, it was like maybe class 5. I found myself having a bit of a struggle with mathematics. It's not that I was performing very poorly, but I found myself not really getting it in class. I think when you're in a class setting, you tend to even feel a bit of discomfort sometimes. If you want to ask extra questions, you kind of feel a sense of, is it pressure? That, yeah, okay, I understood that very quickly. To have that I don't have to speak up in class. I felt a bit, I think I felt a bit lagging behind, like I was lagging behind in terms of being able to express how I needed assistance from my teachers. So when I got to be in a Kumon setup, I was able to have that individualized, really like that assistance, which is just so personalized, where I found myself not having the fear of actually asking any question or the fear of making a mistake. I found myself having that confidence to say, hey, I'm stuck here, and I was not necessarily at a position where I was, let's say, behind or ahead of anyone. I was learning at my own pace. So that really gave me a lot of confidence to continue. And I think just being able to start from ground zero, build up from the most basic things, because you simple maths becomes, if you break it down to the most simplest concept of 1+1. I think that's one thing that even in the beginning I was like, oh, why am I going all the way back to just 1+1?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that just reinforces the need for everybody to look back, like every single problem, by the time you're even doing calculus at a university level, realize it all boils down to that 1+1. So I think that really did put me on that trajectory for success ultimately, and it really enabled me to see mathematics for the fun that it is. It actually made mathematics fun for me. Yeah.
Very well, very well. What Piju has said is clear,
Yes.
that the confidence level actually can be built at Kumon centers. I remember when you were in either primary school or even high school,
Yes.
where a child actually knows an answer. Probably I could know an answer when a teacher asked the question,
Yes.
but the courage to actually carry up my hand to demonstrate that I know was a bit of a problem. So back to you, Mr. Jim. How
Yes.
does Kumon really nurture children so that they gain that confidence level, that they don't become shy when they know something, or even when they don't know, they can still actually be able to say, well, that I do not know.
Excellent. First of all, I'm so excited to see one of the benefits of Kumon, which is confidence and self-expression. And it's exactly what you said. So how do you get there? We get there by realizing that everything comes down to a number of vital few things. First of all, a safe space. You know, a place where you are seen exactly as you are, and you're not made to move faster than you are able to, and your needs are seen and addressed. But allow me to answer it in two ways. First of all, there is something you asked about how like how young and so on. And I wanted to speak to somebody who might be wondering, okay, I like what you said, but how young? So practically, like from 3 years on, a child can start Kumon, just practically from 3 years on. Now, Kumon is usually about strengthening the foundations. It's always about the roots. It's always about starting from where you're able to. So first we do an assessment. And then we find your easy starting point, which is individualized. From your individualized starting point, we start a journey of mastery, like a staircase. And you don't move until you've mastered. And for some people, it takes them a bit longer. Others are a bit shorter. So everybody at their own pace, and everything is step by step. So you build upon the foundation of the previous step. Step by step, mastery. It is the mastery. And mastery comes through practice. That is why Kumon is about a little practice every day. So you practice, you master, you become confident in a safe space.
Thank you very much. Maybe, Viola, you can add something on that in terms of building the confidence of a child at the Kumon centers.
So just one thing I can just add on to what James is saying about confidence. I'll just give you a simple thing, like you can't say something when you're not confident. So this comes in. So for Kumon, we want to make this child just like when I get my children, I usually tell them, just say it. Just say what you know.
Yes.
Even if it's going to say that word like cat, say it wrongly. Can you say it? So there is that practice also as instructors we give them, like to have that courage to just say and try. We give them a space of trying. Like Naori is saying, that safe space to ensure that this child feels confidence. Some of them are not confident because they are not sure that this thing is correct. So the moment you give them that courage, like this is the correct answer when you are doing 1+1, and I want you to say it aloud, and that is a practice we do in Kumon. Children have to say the things aloud. Even if they are reading, we encourage them to say these words aloud. This is the point you will know when to correct this child in a friendly way, of course, and this is the time this child will start saying, oh, I knew this, so why am I not saying it? So this is one way of building confidence for these children.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mr. James mentioned something of like assessing the child capability of getting to be admitted.
Yes.
And probably I want to ask Bujo, what was your experience? Did you know when you were assessed that time at 11 years, what were your weaknesses and probably what were your strengths at that particular time?
Honestly, I did not know my strengths or weaknesses at that point. I think that I was a blank canvas in terms of where I was, in terms of I knew I wanted to do better, but at the same time, I was also very concerned about, I think I had that pressure to want to perform, to want to really do my best in my academics. And when it came to the assessment process, I didn't even feel like it was an assessment process per se. It wasn't like very official. I just felt like, okay, we are going to start this exercise and we're going to start
Usually like a fun sort of scenario.
Exactly.
Because you know when you say assessment,
Yeah.
it kind of have that connotation of an exam.
exam, yes.
That you're going and then, now I have to do well. No,
Yes.
no, no. It's actually usually just a nice, easy sort of thing.
Very,
Hey, let's
very
see what you're
relaxed.
able to do.
Yeah.
So even for the child,
Yeah.
we don't have anxiety.
Exactly.
So
Actually calm them down before
Yes.
they even do that.
exactly. So the assessment then is it's usually about finding what the child can do versus an exam. So then that's why she says she cannot even remember what was the weakness and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but usually it's like they might remember I did this, I was able to do this, maybe I was not able to reach up to here, and for the child, maybe they give me another easier one to do, and so on and so on. So the assessment is usually more from the instructor side. It's about knowing the child. For the child, for them it's just a nice thing they're doing, and they were already assured not to worry, they just do their best.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Back to you, just James.
Yes.
Within the Kumon system, why is it only English and mathematics?
Excellent question, and in fact, I'm always asked about Swahili. You know that do you offer Swahili? So I'm going to answer why only math and English. Well, there is actually one more, which is Japanese, but we don't offer that. But anyway, math and English is because of the origin. Mr. Kumon was Japanese, and it just started out as math and English. I don't know if there's any other reason for that apart from that is just
I
how
think
it started.
if I can assist James,
Yeah.
one of the things when I started learning about Kumon is that math is math.
Yes.
All right? Whether it's an international system, whether it's wherever you go, numbers are numbers. And then for English, English is just universal. All right?
Universal.
And there is no way you can find English which is twisted. It's like your mother tongue. Whatever words you use are words you use, okay? So why math and English? It's because this is a universal kind of a program, so that any child in the world, anywhere, can still do math, can still do English in the right way. And like I told you earlier when we first met, is that our English is much of instructional. It's teaching this child on understanding skills. It's teaching this child that I can read a question and understand. And remember, apart from Kiswahili here in Kenya, all our other exams in our systems are written in English. So that's why I feel like English is the most important subject for any child. Because even the math itself, when they start doing the wordings, yeah,
They need English.
they need English. So for the English program for any child, actually for me, for the younger ones who are starting Kumon, I highly recommend English because they'll have the high capability of understanding and be able to walk along these small steps. Yeah.
Allow me to do a take two on that because I'm excited from what I'm hearing from my colleague here. Yeah, I think maths and English are the most crucial subjects. And that's the only thing I wanted to say. They're the most crucial, and if one is able to read and understand and comprehend, then it has great advantage throughout in their whole life and also in their studies. And we talked about confidence. Like, confidence is through speaking and expressing yourself. So if you are well grounded through Kumon about reading and speaking and expressing yourself, then you're always going to have a notch, going to be a notch ahead of everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, back to you, Biju. As we're discussing about maths and English, maybe you can just take us through the effect that Kumon program had on you, especially on the mathematics as a subject. And you also rightfully mentioned that maths is actually learned all the way to the university. So how did Kumon programs actually assist you in your mathematics as a subject?
It was a tremendous impact that I had as a result of Kumon. I think initially I was at that, let's say, I was very, I'd say, normal in terms of like the way that I'd progress with my understanding of mathematics. I was at the same level as, let's say, my classmates. And then slowly but surely, I found myself being able to adopt new concepts really quickly so that even ahead of the actual class in the sessions that we'd be having, I wouldn't even be struggling because I've already seen that in Kumon sessions. So I'd see myself definitely at a step ahead of other people in that sense. And then that, of course, carries me on to different levels of my life. So from high school and university level, where I was able to really understand and see mathematics for what it is, the beauty and art of it, I think that's what really took me through all these different stages. I think Kumon really did allow me to see maths as a very beautiful thing, as a sense of, it's so many different things. Mathematics is a language, it's art, it's just so many, it made me so excited about the whole process of learning it. So even to the highest level, I think of mathematics learning in university level when I was in university. That really did impact a lot the way that I was able to tackle certain challenges. I was able to see problems, not for what they were at paper value, but I was able to look at them and break them down into the simplest form always. So there's that mindset that Kumon instills in you that even the most challenging thing that you might see on paper, you can always approach it from what you know. Let's see what we know. Let's break down this particular thing. Let's see how we can approach this particular problem in a way that makes sense to you. And then from there, you're just able to push on and solve challenges, even in, I think, daily life. I think Kumon actually applied to me beyond like my academic life. I think
Very
it also
true.
works in my day-to-day.
Absolutely.
So mental maths is like here, like up now. So, yeah, so-
Lovely.
Yes, I want you to add something on that.
Yes,
She's mentioned very interesting that
Yeah.
the problem solving, critical thinking.
Yes.
So how does a Kumon system help the child as they develop into particularly their critical thinking, actually also in solving issues?
Two things. One of the things is how the program is structured. Program is structured in incremental steps from counting to calculus, as in we cover everything that's covered in all schools around the world, from counting calculus in a very, very systematic, step-by-step manner, logical manner. So how does it work? You know, you remember we said we're going to do an assessment to see where you start, and then you start. And when you start, we work on the lower level skills in a big way. The adding, the subtracting, the multiplication. Our students have superior skills. They practice 1,000 times more than the average student. So they have superior skills in terms of mastery. I hope we caught how she was doing it like this. They practice until they know it. So it is the practice and the resilience through practicing, and especially at the lower levels. And then our assignments are timed. So you've got to try and do your assignment within a particular given time. So that brings about focus and concentration. You know, because if a child is able to focus and concentrate, and then they are able to progressively work through the skills, they can tackle anything. So we want them to learn. We want them to develop self-learning capabilities. That is what helps them to work ahead of class. The working ahead of class is a unique feature of Kumon that you don't find anywhere else. And that's where we talk about discovering your potential. Because school is fine. You know, and I use the example of sports. If your child is tennis at a higher level, you cannot tell them to mark time and wait for the rest of them to catch up with them. So with Kumon, we instill the skills they need at the lower levels so that they can be able to work through the higher levels above schoolwork. We create a sense of adventure in them. And I really loved how eloquently she talked. We want them to discover the beauty. And for a lot of children, give them any computer game. They always want to go to the next one. They kind of finish this level, they want to go to the next one. So in Kumon, start strong foundation, instill the skills, teach them how to focus, concentrate, read and follow instructions by yourself.
At one point, they will advance beyond classwork. What are they going to do? Remember, read the instructions, follow the example, try. And if you don't get it the first time, what do? Try again.
Thank you very much, James. And I will come back to what really attracts parents to Kumon institutions in Kenya.
Okay, I could say one thing. I'm one of the instructors who has faced challenges, but I think I was so happy because James, when he was starting, I'm only 4 years old in Kumon as an instructor, so I usually have James as a reference most of the times, and the challenges he was having 20 years ago in the South Sea are the challenges I'm facing in Tena right now. There is now that element of understanding or what Kumon is. Okay, so and in this sense, we want to why a parent look for Kumon? I think James put it very well. We have three categories of these parents. We have those who are looking for a challenge. We have those just average kids, and we have those ones who really need some push. Okay, so most of the time when parents come to me, and then there are those like the way you came, you want to look for your child to make busy, your child is busy. So there are those different needs of parents. So the most beautiful thing that when they Kumon and discover the secret of how Kumon can impact their children, parents, and they become very lovely parents. Actually, I have parents who come in very like, no, that I'm not sure. Let's just give it a try.
Yes.
And we like the fact that they want to give it a try. So this give it a try parents actually becomes long-term parents. Because these actually the difficult parents are the long-term parents, the ones who come in and they're not sure what this is all about. And the ones who come knowing, sometimes disturb, James.
Well, let's put it this way.
Yeah,
Yeah, some they kind of know or think they know.
Think they know.
And so on and so on. But there's so much depth to Kumon.
Yes. So that is why you find these parents are quite excited by the transformation they see in their children. And actually, like Biju is saying, at some point, no, it is the child who starts getting excited. It now even moves away from the parent. You'll find if you stop that child from Kumon, they'll keep asking you, when am I going back to Kumon? When am I going back? So it really transforms even this child's work skills. They start feeling like, no, this is something I need. Because any child at school who starts performing and he wasn't, and he knows, well, it is Kumon, they will just tell the parent, no, I need that Kumon. And they'll really push you back to that program. So that is why you find us having these parents and students.
Allow me to just add one more thing. That because you asked what attracts parents, and I love the way you've put it. And what I've seen that attracts parents is some sort of inner knowing that your child can do more. You see? Just that sort of knowing, my child can do more. So sometimes the parent comes from a place of frustration, that they want their child to do more, and they have not found a solution. They want change. They want a positive change in their children. So sometimes what brings them is because of the results that were not very good. And then now they're coming looking for urgent help. So in all these scenarios, we want them to see the bigger picture of Kumon. Because at first, what attracts them is they want their child to improve in school. And without a doubt, as you said, if you practice, if you do it consistently, if you do it long enough, you will see some improvement. But then they start noticing these other changes, the confidence, the communication, the independence. They start realizing the bigger picture of Kumon that is beyond academics. But what brings them? Something that is happening. Either them knowing that my child can do more, they are not, the school is not bringing out. So some element of dissatisfaction within them. Others, it's results. and others is referrals.
Thank you. And Bijo, when you got to Kumon 11 years ago, at what point, maybe in business you call it break even, at what point did you now identify yourself actually are taking a trajectory that actually went up?
I think almost maybe a month or two into the experience, I just had a really good run when it came to my academic performance in school. So, like, let's say, I think at that time, the school that I went to was breaking down our performance in terms of quarters. So, you're either in the first quarter, that means you scored 410 and above out of 500 marks, and you were maybe in third quarter. So, let's say I was performing between third quarter and second quarter. And almost instantly, I was performing first quarter. Like, again, very quickly, like into the experience. So maybe a month or two into it, I started performing really well, and that was now at the primary stage. And then in high school, I think that's where it really, like, the long term, that's when I saw the long term effect of Kumon, because I was done with my Kumon experience, and I was in a boarding school setup, and that was incredible. I could see myself now really performing to another extent. I think I was performing as the highest performing student in terms of the system that I was in. I was in an IGCSE setup, but because of the exposure that I had in Kumon, I was really smashing records in terms of smashing. My maths performances and overall academic performance. So all throughout high school, I was winning awards for first prize for performing well, and that also carried me on to university. So mathematics was something that was so easy to me. I think I was scoring 90s even throughout that whole university mathematics engineering experience as well. So it really took me now. I saw now the long term. It actually now stayed with me longer into my life. So you might see now the instant improvements. Then there's the long term. It's so long lasting. So it's a very sustainable approach to learning. It stays with you, and it becomes almost second nature to you, and it's ingrained in you and your mindset, and it really does change who you are for the better.
So we can hear that she was smashing mathematics, smashing English.
I love the smashing.
And then so on and so forth. In CBC, you mentioned you are actually exceeding expectation, approaching expectation, and so on and so forth. And of course, you're always above expectation for that matter. Maybe if we come back to you, Viola, in terms of the capacity of our children, if a child get to common system into their adulthood, what are some of the effects that we are likely to see in that person when they become actually adult, having actually passed through the Kumon Center? Maybe James can start on that question.
Well, okay, I've been long enough to see that, where children, who are once my Kumon students, now are back as parents. I actually have had the privilege of seeing that in my long years of Kumon. So I think the key thing is what she said there, that there is the immediate transformations that you see, but you see, the key thing about Kumon is about the habits, the mindset, and the work skills that get ingrained. So, because this child is well trained in that direction, so quite often they are usually leaders, and quite often they are able to think freely and for themselves, and choose the programs, and choose the subjects, and choose the options that are best for them. Many of them end up excelling in adulthood. So the habits don't go away because they are well ingrained. And remember, I said foundation. And so it stays with you.
Okay, thank you very much. Madam Viola, back to you. Apart from a Kumon Leisure Center, of course, Kumon Tena, which other Kumon centers do you have here in Kenya?
Okay, we have various Kumon centers, majority of them being in Nairobi. Actually, the ones we have outside Nairobi, I know it's Kisumu and Mombasa so far. And
hey, there's Meru.
Meru, just okay.
Okay, well, okay. You said outside Nairobi, okay.
Yeah, outside Nairobi we have Mombasa and Kisumu. So, and in Nairobi we actually have the old centers, which now we are talking about James and his colleagues, almost 20 plus years. We just came from the nearest one, that is Kilimani. We have one in Lavington. We have another one in Ngong Road. We have one in Rongai. We have another one in Utawala. We have another one in Ruiru. We have another one in Kiambu Road. So we are spread in a way that we are able to get to reach the parents, be able to get them to get to their nearest centers. Actually, we have the nearest one in Isili.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, in Isili. It's a very young center. So we are here to make sure that all parents, there are so many students with these needs. When I became ambitious of opening a center in Eastlands, I remember I was asked, will it work? That was the question, will it work? Well, and then I was so confident enough to tell them that, you know, that is an area which have parents who have the same needs like what James could have here in Kileleshwa. So there is no limit. There's no limit to any child. I know parents here, I just want to say it confidently, fear that Kumon is very expensive, but the moment you step into that center is when you know that you can really afford Kumon. It's beyond the money, if I could say. It's beyond that fee that you pay every month. When you start seeing what it does to your child, is when you start realizing, oh, I have parents who have stopped taking their children to tuition. You know, like in our area, down in Eastlands, children are compelled to stay at school up to 6. Yeah? Yeah, yes, it happens. But I have parents right now who have actually stopped that tuition process from 4 to 6. Just simply because they came to Kumon and realized what Kumon is doing rather than taking them to the normal tuition. I'm not saying tuition is bad, but what benefit is this child getting? Yeah, what are we looking at? So these are some of the reasons why you find parents wanting to do more about Kumon, know more about Kumon, get their children to a Kumon center. Yeah, so basically it's a whole new learning, and it's a whole new thing that we want students in this country. We have Bijia. I was so excited when I met her. You know, I met her the first time, the kind of excitement, the confident, I just definitely knew this is a Kumon student. It only happens to a Kumon student. Yeah? And actually what James is saying, the discipline that Kumon gives kids, you know, it goes way beyond academics. It goes back to lifestyle. You know, they become very disciplined students even as they grow older. That is the most beautiful thing that you can find in any child. That is what any parent could wish for.
Thank you very much. And of course, lastly to James, how does a child toggle between the normal school days and programs and then come back into Kumon setup, assuming it is always school time?
Excellent. So how does one blend the two? How does one sort out the time issues? When are you going to do it? When are you going to do schoolwork? When are you going to do homework? So the good thing about Kumon is that, first of all, it's daily study, but it's a little every day. See? So we want to teach and train this child good time management. And you've got to organize yourself, that there is time for school homework, and then you sit in for another 30 minutes or maybe an hour for an extra practice. Most children, maybe they could just be playing around or just lazing around, or they're just in their devices. We want to teach them good time management. So Kumon is done every day, but it's a little every day. The other thing is that children come to the Kumon centers only twice a week. Only twice a week. The other times they practice at home. And if they have a challenge with twice a week, maybe they can come once a week. But the point there is that every child has work that they're doing, a little every day. We teach them good time management, have a timetable, and stick to it.
Thank you very much. Maybe just to get deeper or just get to the event that Kumon is having next week, maybe at this point in time, because I heard it from you, Viola, for the first time. So just take us through what we are supposed to expect on the 10th of February 2024.
Thank you so much, and this is the right opportunity to welcome every parent. If you're not able to attend that event, watch it. You are watching right now, and one thing I could say that we have now those students who have gone beyond their class levels. Okay, we have this award that we give them: 1 year above class level, 2 years above class level, and 3 years above class level. You can imagine your grade 2, yeah. You're grade 2, Adrian. Let me talk about Adrian, and he's now gone to grade 2, right? So we are talking about Adrian having to do work in grade 4 or 6. This makes, like you had Biju saying, it makes it them easier. When they're in class, they just smash this maths and go on. It's tap tap. I mean, it's very easy for them. So this is a very important event in the Kumon family, and we are going to award students who have exemplary done so well. Even those ones who have tried, these are students who have really worked so hard to get to that level. So this is the event of the year, and we will be doing this every year just to make sure that our students feel appreciated. So welcome to this event, 10th of February, mark the date, the next Saturday actually, yes. Welcome, and we'll be excited to see all the students who are going to be awarded, and congratulate them for their efforts. Thank
Maybe
you.
James, you can take us through who are we expecting during that day on that event?
Okay, excellent. So the event is called ASHR, Advanced Students Honors Roll. So these are students who have attained that honors roll. It's a roll, it's a list of students who have advanced. And as my colleague here said, according to the various levels of advancement. So who is invited? Who is invited is the students who are on the ASHR level, and the instructors are able to alert them that they've already attained that level. So we're going to be inviting those students. We're also going to be inviting the parents of the students, and also we're going to be inviting some of our success stories, some of our past students.
And which dignitaries are we expecting on that day, Boju? Sorry, Viola.
Okay, expecting our area manager. We are expecting our Kumon president from South Africa, Manning Africa, Europe. And most of it, we'll be expecting some other, like James has said, our former students. And we are also expecting one of, they're called Kenya Diaspora Alliance chairman, Mr. Dr. Ochodo, will be attending with us. Why diaspora? It's because most of the students who come from abroad, when they come here, the only program they look for is Kumon.
That's true. Yes.
That is very true. They look for Kumon. They know why Kumon. So this is a very important point, and we are happy that he is able to attend that forum with us.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Boju, what do you expect to get from that event, or what would you advise students who actually haven't enrolled for the Kumon program to be enrolled in such programs so that they can be able to also win such kind of award that we're going to see on 10th of February?
So what I expect from the event, first and foremost, is just a very rich pool of different people from different backgrounds, all coming together in celebration of this amazing, long-lasting impact of this initiative that was started all the way in Japan, that's doing really well in Kenya. I think it's just a testament to how, at the end of the day, we are a universal people, we're a universal, we're the human race, and together we can accomplish so many.
We all just come together, share ideas, share concepts. And when I think about how the people who will be coming will be able to see, like, yeah, we are here, those who have come through the system, and for those who have not yet enrolled, they'll be able to, like, ask questions. They'll be able to come up to us and be like, oh, so you've been through it, what is it like? So I generally think it will be very interactive in that sense, and there will be a lot of inspiration shared, I think, for those who have not yet enrolled. And for those who are still questioning and who are still on the fence about Kumon, I'd say just give it a try. It's something that is worthwhile from my side, yeah.
Maybe as we come towards the close of this, our talk show, James, you can have something to say or to add in our whole discussion?
Oh, excellent, thank you. I want to talk about this whole thing of potential. That everybody has potential, and today we are talking about our children. And potential requires to be unearthed. See? And
We often don't know what our children. So in my years of Kumon, I've seen a tool for discovering and developing the potential of children, and we have an example of one who is no longer a child, but still,
Sure.
still a fruit of that hard work that the parents did to get them in Kumon. So if you're looking for a way to discover and develop the potential of a child, Kumon is the way.
Thank you so much. Maybe just want to look at one of the cameras. Can it's camera 1, camera 2? Just to invite the parents, of course, children, and of course, the guests that will come into that event on the 10th of February.
Absolutely. So welcome to the event. It's happening on the 10th of February at the National Museum, Louis Leakey Auditorium. Please come one, come all. It will be an event to remember. I think that it will be life-changing for those who already know about Kumon, for those who are curious about Kumon, for those who you just want to see a different set of people and who are passionate about learning, who are passionate about education. And that's what Kumon is about. It really does give you the passion for learning, and you realize that it's a long-lasting process, the learning journey, and it just equips you with the skills that are required so that you can apply to every area of your life. So please come and, yeah, let's interact.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of our show. Your host was Michael Olwen from ACT Digital Media. Thank you and see you next time.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.